it is I, the cat nut, because I'm going to read a story which features me entitled Daisy Head Mayzie, because I'm on the cover. So, here's how it happened.
It's hard to believe such a thing could be true, and I hope such a thing never happens to you. But it happened, they say, to poor Mayzie McGrew, and it happened like this. She was sitting one day at her desk in her school in the usual way when she felt a small twitch on the top of her head. So Mayzie looked up and she almost dropped dead. Something peculiar was going on there, and Daisy was sprouting right out of her hair. Behind her was sitting young Herman Butch Strudel. This looked like a daisy up here on her noodle. It doesn't make sense. Why couldn't it be so? I knew there was no place for a daisy to grow. The outspoken little boy, honestly fantastic, the brightest young man in the whole of the class. It's a very odd place to be sprouting a daisy, but nevertheless, one is growing on Mayzie. Hey, look it, cried Butch. Right here in this room, Daisy Head Mayzie, she's bursting in bloom. Mrs. Sneetcher, the teacher, came rushing up quick. Such nonsense! Some child here is playing a trick. What's why you boys stuck that thing in her hair? You know that a daisy could never grow there. The teacher, said Butch. I saw the thing rise right out of her head with my very own eyes. Just give it a yank. If you think I'll tell lies. But Miss Sneetcher had heard quite enough of this talk. Mayzie, hold still, let me get at that stalk. Ouch! hollered Mayzie. Quick yanking, Butch said. You're giving her pains. I'll bet that those roots go way down in her brains. The kids in the class started shouting like crazy. Daisy Head, Daisy Head, Daisy Head Mayzie! Shout and be quiet! Good grief and less! Miss Sneetcher was shocked by the noise in her class. I've taught this in my room 20 years, maybe more, but I've never seen anything like this before. I have to report it. You'll just have to come to the principal's office and show Mr. Grum. Now the principal, good Mr. Gregory Grum, was a very wise man, just as smart as they come. He knew more than anyone else in this nation about long division and multiplication. He knew all the answers, why oceans are deep, why skies are so high, and why mountains are deep. He should have the answer to this thing on Mayzie. My word, he declared, it's a genuine daisy. I see them quite often in fields growing wild, but never before on the head of a child. Now what in the world ever made this thing sprout? I have no idea, but I'm going to find out. It says here, daisies grow on the land. They grow between rocks, they grow also in sand. It mentions right here they can grow in a pot, but mention here the head of a girl, it does not. Daisies, it says, sometimes grow in Alaska, also Missouri, Rhode Island, Nebraska. They grow in Japan, and in Spain and Peru, in India, France, and in Idaho too. They grow in South Boston, and also in Rome. But why should they grow on this little girl's dome? Say, look it, said Mayzie. It's wilting, it's drooping. How wonderful, Mayzie. If so be dead, you'll be rid of that daisy. In just a few minutes, our troubles will pass, declared Mr. Brown. Take her back to the class. And then the principal saw a most terrible sight. But Daisy was dying, and that was all right. But that Daisy was part of poor Mayzie McGrew, and Mayzie was starting to wilt away too. Teacher, said Grum, you know what I mean? They're both going to die. Hurry, bring them a drink. That Daisy, that girl's the worst problem in town. You hid her away, and you made her lie down. You locked her up tight in that room down the hall. There are quite a few numbers they have got to call. Get Maisie's parents on the end of the line. I need her quickly while there's still time. On the phone, Maisie's mom asked, what's all the fuss? Then, goodness to Betsy, I'll catch the next bus. I'll call up to the shoe store, reach Mr. McGrew. He answered, I was holding a customer's shoe. Yes, this is, oh no, I really must go. A doctor should see her, the principal said. An expert on plants like the one in her head. So he called Dr. Eisenbart, who said, "What a trick, but Stepstone's packed. I'll be there in a tick." "Wait, Doc," said his patient, "I'll come along too. My brother's a vet, and he knows this McGrew." When he heard Vince the florist grab his first shears, I'll be there just as soon as my trunk can shift gears. Meanwhile, poor Mayzie lay down on the couch. Fed Daisy slumped down on its leaves in a slouch. But the window was open because it was warm, and the sweet smelling Daisy attracted a swarm of bees. Buzz! Bees! Bees! The faster she ran, the faster they flew. So Mayzie kept running. What else could she do? She attempted to hide behind arms of Thatcher, who cut out his hat like a bumblebee catcher. The bees took his hat. Thatcher said, "I'm no fool," and ran after Mayzie back to the school. Principal Drum didn't know what to do. "It's worse," cried Miss Nietzsche. "Much worse than we feared. The Daisies and Mayzie have both disappeared." Behind her came charging Mr. McGrew, chased by a customer chasing his shoe. Vince the florist, Dr. Eisenbart too, Dr. Eisenbart's patient, and Mrs. McGrew. Then through the window with Officer Thatcher, who signed the paint shut so the bees couldn't catch her. Jack Mayzie McGrew to the floor in a splatter. Were the Daisies still there, except taller and fatter? "My poor little daughter, the Daisy, it's true, I'm going to faint," cried Mrs. McGrew. "Tut, tut," said the florist, "there's no need for tears, just because there's a Daisy between her two ears. I'll snip it right off with my sharp pruning shears." "She's my patient, don't touch her, you must stand apart. We have to have room," said Dr. Eisenbart. "I think that Mayzie and plans could help me get a research grant." Then the door opened wide, and the mayor stepped inside. And meetings and greetings there was none to compare. He was best at long speeches, chock full of hot air. "I promise, my friends, that I'm re-elected. This Daisy and Mayzie will be disconnected. The law of our fathers is simple and sound. Daisies belong and should stay on the ground. The rest are legal. We'll bar them from town." From the back of my voice, sometimes loud, sometimes slick, of a wheeler dealer who knew every trick. "I'm Fernando the agent. You've heard of me, I'm sure. I represent young what his name and others now on tour. But Mayzie, you're so special. Please let me shake your hand. Your town is a wondrous feat, unique in all the land. Daisy and Mayzie spelled out in bright light. We'll talk kids in the day and parents at night. Daisy and Mayzie, you got quite an at. Just stick with me, kid, and sign this contract. Your father needs to sign too." Her mother said, "Mayzie, don't be a fool," and the principal begged her not to leave school. But Mayzie didn't stop to blink. She signed her name in proof ink, and the Daisy signed too. Daisy had fever, was gripping the nation, and quickly became a worldwide sensation. Daisy had burgers, and Daisy had drinks. Daisy had stockings, and Daisy had sinks. Daisy had buttons, and Daisy had balls. Mayzie was famous to star of her shows. Fame had knocked on Maisie's door. Now she had it all and more. Piles of money stacked in tens. But what is money without friends? A dream had led her far astray. That was the price she had to pay. Mayzie McGrew ran night and day, nowhere to go, nowhere to stay, because she was sure that everyone must have written her off in total disgust. Over and over again in her head, these are the words that poor Mayzie said. "I can never go home. Nobody loves me. Nobody loves me. Nobody loves me." Nobody loved her. Poor Mayzie McGrew. It's hard to believe such a thing could be true. And maybe that's why then this Daisy above, when Mayzie below began talking of love. What you know about daisies? When love is in doubt, the judgment of a daisy is try and find out. They love her? They love her not. They love her? They love her not. Don't worry, Daisy. Mayzie. Don't worry, Mayzie. They love you. They love me. Well, that's how it all happened. The fear went away. Mayzie McGrew is quite happy today, better step and doing just great in all of her subjects. And rule number 8, And concerning that daisy, you know that it never grew out of the top of her head again, ever. Or, well, it practically never popped up there again. Something occasionally, just now and then, ting! After all, I'm getting used to it. Oh, but at the store, you'll be growing up yourself. Don't get a daisy on your head. So, see you later. Have a bowl, barney with a little row into it.